All right, well, let's now bring in arms control expert and former International Atomic Energy Agency official Tariq Rauf joining us on the line. Tariq, hi there. Not everyone, as we obviously knew, wasn't going to be happy with this, but is Congress likely to scupper it? Is the dissent over it likely to scupper it, or will the deal still get through end of the day, do you think? What are your thoughts?
I believe the deal will survive, even if Congress votes against it. President Obama has said that he would veto the deal. Congress would then need to get a two-thirds majority in the U.S. Senate, which is very unlikely. So I would say that President Obama and Secretary Kerry can be confident that this deal would be implemented.
And what about relations between Israel and America over this? Are they going to survive unscathed? And we always knew that Israel's Prime Minister, in fact, he's made some very overtly grand gestures, even threatening, and whether he meant it or not, we're not sure, but to kill himself if this deal goes through. Sure, that wouldn't happen. But, you know, we knew he would be very unhappy about it. What about relations between America and his country now over it, do you think?
Well, today I gather Defense Secretary Ashton Carter is on his way to Israel. And he, I think, will offer them a defense package, which I think the current Israeli Prime Minister has spurned. But the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, have said that they would like this additional military assistance from the U.S. So I would characterize this deal as a stunning, historic success.
Success for Tehran? Did they make more concessions than maybe they hoped they'd have to?
I think they also get a lot of sanctions relief. So, yes, they might have made more concessions on the enrichment part than they would like to. But in the end, they do get to maintain an enrichment capability, even though it is limited. And after some number of years, they would be able to resume commercial enrichment for peaceful purposes under IAEA verification.
You used to work for the IAEA, as we were saying there, you know, firsthand what it's like negotiating this kind of thing. In the run-up to this deal, the IAEA said they were having problems still getting access to Iran's military places, some of them. Let me put it another way. Are you confident that they're going to get the access that they need into the future unrestricted, and it'll be pretty easy going or not?
Well, there is no such thing as anywhere, anytime access. Under the additional protocol, Iran is obligated to provide to the IAEA access even to sensitive and military sites, provided the IAEA makes a good case for visiting such sites to ensure that there is no undeclared nuclear material and no undeclared nuclear activity taking place. So under this Vienna Agreement, there are provisions for access and a mechanism to ensure that even if there is a dispute between Iran and the IAEA for getting access, the IAEA can be provided access.
So it should be smoother than before, you think? You're pretty confident it will be?
Well, in the past, Iran had cut off access to military sites in retaliation to the current Director General putting out this annex in November 2011, which listed the so-called possible military dimensions. And Iran basically didn't engage on the military dimension issue until now. And now with the joint plan of action, it gives Iran a way to move this forward. And the IAEA too has compromised. As you know, the Director General will issue an assessment by the 15th of December, and the board would then adopt a resolution with a view to closing the file on military dimensions.
We talked about just now the possible ramifications of relations between America and Israel. What about relations between America and Iran after this? There's only recently Iran's supreme leader this weekend reiterated the country's opposition to America's foreign policy, stressed that the nuclear deal is simply an isolated case and that Iran wouldn't have agreed to it unless the terms are so good. So actually, has this deal brought the countries together or not, really?
Well, I think here the supreme leader in Iran is trying to appease the hardliners in Iran itself, just as on the Western side, you find that all the advantages of the restrictions on Iran's nuclear program are advertised. So I think here the supreme leader is trying to convey to his hardliners and conservatives that Iran hasn't given away the shop.